Welcome to the Dead Bedroom Revival Podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. I'm remaking this episode because I was sitting in my car when I made the last one, and the energy levels were pretty low. And I was listening to it. I was thinking the content is great, but I'm not loving the energy. So I thought I'm going to make another one, and I apologize for the background noise, but hopefully. I can deliver the content the same way I did before. And the episode was inspired by a conversation on Facebook, in a Facebook group, where somebody was asking if you're justified to watch porn within a sexless relationship. And really, the overwhelming answer was that there's no issue with porn. And really, when they say watching porn, is really more to do with masturbation. Because I think generally, porn is a tool that's used for you to help you when you are masturbating, and there's very few people in the world, especially men, that watch porn and walk away from it without feeling aroused, without not really masturbating. Generally, I would say a good 90% fall into the percentage of people who are looking for something exciting to wank to or masturbate to. So, and I'm saying this because it's coming from personal experience. And I don't want to be the guy who's going to be telling you that, it's good or it's bad and then make it seem like I don't do it. I've done it before. And where I sit on this is that it's not a very good thing in terms of a sexless relationship, because when you are in a sexless relationship, when you use things like porn as a tool in order to escape. Now, this is from my personal experience. I used masturbation and porn in order to escape the world and escape things that were going on in my life. Not just sexless relationship, not just work, just a lot of things that whenever life gets very difficult, and which it does, and because we're all going through different seasons, I would then sort of start watching porn and masturbating, and really it was more of me trying to make myself feel good and sort of escape from the problems. And really, as we grow older, we realize that it's not all roses when you are an adult. You have to be responsible, and then that responsibility comes with a lot more problems, and you have to be problem solving all the time as an adult. And there are seasons where those problems are more, and there's sometimes when they're less. But most of the time you're problem solving, you're trying to really sometimes cope, and then sometimes you actually start thriving within that sort of environment, because every single time you have to be dealing with certain things. And if you have grown up with the sense of like the first time you discover that you could masturbate and you could ejaculate, and depending on what you did with that, some people would have used that as a tool to sort of recalibrate their emotions or recalibrate the mind. So if you're feeling sad and you're feeling lonely, you're feeling rejected, you would have sort of moved into masturbation in order just to make yourself feel good about yourself. Because when you do masturbate, there is a chemical that is released in your brain called dopamine, and that feel-good chemical can last for a certain amount of time, and then sometimes you might end up having to go back again to masturbate so you can feel good again. So again, there's this association of feeling bad and then wanting to escape, and really just trying to avoid dealing with issues. And this is where the problem lies for me, because I remember from any situation that I was trying to avoid in terms of masturbation, in terms of life, anytime I was indulging in any porn and masturbating and doing all the other things, I was not dealing with the issue. I was medicating myself, but really not dealing with the issue. And this is what I was talking about at the end of the last year when I was talking about decision making, that sometimes when you delay a decision, usually sometimes it just makes it even more painful. So for instance, within a sexless relationship, when you are watching porn and then masturbating, really you are now, in that situation, you're feeling rejected, you're feeling unwanted. And then instead of sort of soaking yourself in that environment where you're feeling rejected and really trying to understand, why is it that I feel rejected? Why is it that she's rejecting me? What can I do to change this? You then don't get creative in terms of trying to figure out the solution. You then sort of move into this place where you are really medicating yourself. And again, it's weird how creativity plays a huge role in both. That in order to resolve your sexless relationship, you have to be comfortable getting uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you get into a process where your brain starts trying to figure out how to come out of that situation. Whereas within watching porn, it's very rare that you watch the same pieces of content or again in order for you to get off. So you sometimes have to go through a process where you're looking for new content so you can stimulate you, in a certain way where it's really creative, and then all of a sudden it increases the pleasure of the masturbation. I'm speaking from experience because, I think it's not fair for me to speak and tell you that it's bad and not tell you that why I think it's bad. And I think it's bad because in any time, whether it's within even my work-life balance or whether it's bills, the moment I start masturbating and really trying to avoid dealing with it or never dealing with it, that thing just kept getting worse. So this is the reason why I say it's bad. And even though I know it's bad, I sometimes can be flying within, being able to conquer, not going and watch porn, be doing well, podcasting, training, eating, diet, doing everything, and feeling like I'm on top of the world. And then for some strange reason, I would bring my guard down and then just find myself watching porn and masturbating, and I'm thinking, how on earth did I get here? So I'm not speaking as though I've completely overcome it, but at the same time, I actually understand now that there's a cost for watching porn, and the cost is much worse than what you're trying to escape. So if it's a sexless relationship, when you move from the sexless relationship and start using porn as a way of coping, it makes the sexless relationship prolonged, last longer. It actually lasts a lot longer, because when it comes to the time when you want to seduce your partner, you have a fallback. You've got a plan B. That, okay, if this doesn't work, I've got a plan B. And then you're not all in when you come into the seduction. So she feels that you're not all in. So therefore, it's not going to work. So this is the reason why that, if you are, that you're going to seduce her and you've got no other way of going back, you're fully engaged, you're fully present with her, she will feel that. But half of the time when I speak to guys, when they say, I've tried everything, you can try everything, but if porn is a backup when it doesn't work out, then you're not really trying everything. So I'm sorry to have to put it that way, but you see where I'm coming from with this. Because I know that in my life, when I was watching a lot of porn, the times between us having sex just got longer and longer, because I'm being satisfied elsewhere. And then I'm not as creative, and then I'm not as attentive, I'm not as present. And that's what the woman would value. She values your presence, and it's more of the intention behind the seduction. And I think I talked about this in a different episode, that usually when you have an intention behind the seduction, that intention is what she feels. And if you come half-hearted, half-assed, because if it doesn't work out, you can go and have porn, then it's never going to happen. So you're going to stay in that sexless relationship, and that sexless relationship is either going to completely ruin you, because again with porn, there's the other danger that is there is that because you're releasing dopamine, the levels of how you enjoy, like I was saying this, like, so if you think of squash, the more you watch porn and you think of dopamine as this drop of squash, it's almost like you keep putting water in this squash, and over a period of time this squash is going to taste like water. Or I don't know how, I noticed that there's a lot of American viewers. I don't know what you guys do, but imagine, for instance, the potency of lemonade. For instance, if you're going to a takeaway or a fast food restaurant, and then you keep putting ice in this thing, all of a sudden, as the ice melts, it's going to make it taste watery. And this is what it's like, that your brain, the more you expose yourself to these porn and all these other things like that, it starts watering down how you feel in when it comes to sex. And there's a few guys that I've spoken to about this, when they've changed things around in their relationship, they can't feel anything. They can't orgasm. The sex isn't as exciting. They're now getting sex, but the sex isn't even exciting anymore, because the way that it works when you are watching porn, you're looking for this thing that's really, really exciting, and your partner can't match the level of excitement that you were seeking on when you're watching, because you're always ramping up the excitement. So if it's missionary when you started watching porn, and that will turn you on. It's not enough just to watch missionary anymore. You now want to see her being slapped and all sorts of other things that turns you on. And you know what I'm talking about. So when you're now doing this with your partner, she's not bringing the same level of intensity, especially if she's coming from somebody who didn't desire sex to somebody who's actually now desiring sex. Then she won't be able to match that level of demand that you want. So there is a lot of cost when it comes to watching porn in a sexless relationship. And this is my opinion. So, I mean, you can still do what you need to do. If you want help with this, go to our Instagram, and then we can help you. And I can show you what I do in terms of strategies of staying away from that stuff. And like I said, I find myself sometimes, I let my guard down, and then I find myself there as well. So it's not something that is an ongoing thing that I work through. And I can function, I can go to work, I can be a dad and on all other things. So I wouldn't say it was an addiction, because there's people that I've met that have got addiction where they're compulsively doing it, even at work, everywhere. It was completely, so I was in a place where it was suddenly a coping mechanism. So it was something where I needed to use it to cope with life and to try and navigate my, and feel better about myself. And I know for you, it might be that situation, and you're thinking about, I really need to love my wife or I love my partner, and I want to stay with her, but I want to change. And one of the quickest things that you can do to change this is to stop watching porn. And I know that's difficult, but I can guarantee you that's the best thing that you can ever do for your relationship. So thank you very much for listening to this. I'll be speaking to you soon. Take care.